Let's also talk about green programs. We've covered energy programs to a degree, and energy auditors and energy raters and energy mortgages. But there's also a green component to all this. Once you become knowledgeable, and I guess I could say you don't have to be knowledgeable about the energy, the building science behind how to make homes efficient, but it certainly is something you should do. But even if you are strictly interested in the green components of home, you can become what's called a certified green verifier for the National Association of Home Builders. They have two programs out there. One of them is their Green Guidelines program. The other one is the National Green Build Standard or Green Building Standard. The Green Verifier goes out and makes sure that the homes do in fact meet the green components or the specific guidelines as put out by the programs offered through the National Association of Home Builders. They send the reports and the results back to the NAHB's Green Group at nahbgreen.org. Green verifiers, certified green verifiers, can work with certified green professionals, which are builders that have taken a certain amount of green training. You can get this information about becoming a green verifier online by going to the nahbgreen.org website and looking for certification and how to get trained. Pretty much all of it can be done online. There is a cost involved, but if you go through the whole thing and they accept you and you do well and you pass the test, you can become a certified green verifier for the National Association of Home Builders. I also started to mention this earlier in this presentation, that if you become a certified home energy rater, or if you work with some certified home energy raters, you can become what's called a certified green rater under the U.S. Green Building Program. It's called the LEED, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design for Homes program. This is structured very similar to the HERS Rater program in that a green rater who does the certification and testing of green homes for the U.S. Green Building Council must belong to a LEED accredited homes provider, such as a regional group that tracks what's happening. So you've got your green raters reporting to green providers. So the green providers now provide a second set of eyes to make sure that all the paperwork that's involved, and there's a considerable amount when you get into a green testing and certification program, they make sure that all that paperwork does make sense, is in the right order, and then they forward that on to the U.S. Green Building Council to get the home tested and certified and accredited by the USGBC. It takes a little while to go through the process. There is some time and expense involved, and it's best if you're going to become a certified green rater for the USGBC or a certified green verifier for the National Association of Home Builders that you take some time up front to explain to the homeowners or the builders or whoever it is that's getting ready to build this green structure that well, basically what they're going to run into in terms of costs, time element, commitment. And it's a commitment to build green buildings. Now, I'm not going to talk about improvements of existing buildings because that's a whole nother ball game, and some of that's coming along through the National Association, or I think that's right, National Association of Remodeling Industry, or other remodeling professionals, and they do have some programs, but I don't have that in my slide presentation yet, and I would like to get into that in more detail. And I also have some other things to talk about as far as how to see if an existing home can be green or how to make it green. So I'll have that presentation online shortly. Now, if you go through the U.S. Green Building Council LEED for Homes program, you can get a listing on their website that looks similar to this. You'll notice that it shows a home with a fairly significantly sized photovoltaic or PV, otherwise known as the solar electric system, on the roof. And if you look at this information, hopefully it'll point out where you can see what I'm doing here, but it shows that 45% more energy efficient than that this building is 45% more energy efficient than a typical house and has 66% lower heating bills. So the reason these don't the same number is because it's heating versus cooling, and so year-round savings is 45%, heating winter savings is 66% lower, and exceptional indoor air quality. So the upper part here will show that out of the sustainable sites, well, let me point out that too, this lower part is done by the home energy rater. So this is your energy component. When you go up above, This is the green rater component. Now you're taking it the next step, so you have to look at things like sustainable sites. This home got 10.5 points out of a possible 14. Water efficiency. This home only got 1 point out of a possible 12. Indoor environmental air quality. 10 points out of 14. Materials and resources. 5.5 out of 24. And you can see that as you go down this listing, what you do is you add up all these first numbers and they come to a score of 51. But that's what this is saying, is this particular home got a score of 51, and so rated as silver out of a possible 108. But anyway, the silver level is 51 points. In this case, they achieved silver by getting 51 points. And it says that this particular home was awarded the certification on May 12th of 2006. So this is something you can do as a green rater for green clients who are wanting to build green homes and green residential structures. Now, since the theme of this presentation is green jobs, I'm going to talk about some other green energy jobs that I think are coming down the pike. I don't think they're going to have the employment possibilities across the country of retrofitting buildings. I think retrofitting buildings of any type is the large gorilla in the room, but there will be other jobs come along. Installation and maintenance of large wind machines in the wind farms. Installation and maintenance of the solar thermal systems and solar electric PV systems is absolutely going to be growth industries. In fact, there could be a tremendous number of jobs come from this. I just don't know. We'll see how it all unfolds, but we do know there's going to be ever-increasing employment. I just don't know if it'll has the explosive potential that retrofitting buildings energy-wise does. Repair, maintenance of hybrid cars and all-electric vehicles. These are also good potential green energy jobs that I see coming down the pike. The installation and maintenance of micro-turbine systems and fuel cells. These are systems that can produce electricity for small groups of homes. I see that as a growth industry where people will be lumping a number of homes together in a neighborhood and providing regionalized electric systems so that you can buy power off the grid or produce your own power using natural gas or whatever, and reduce your costs somewhat. I don't know how big of an answer it will be, but it's certainly going to happen some. Biofuels, ethanol, biodiesel, and biomass such as switchgrass. These are all growth fields, green job fields. In the state of Missouri, we have a tax credit available for heating poultry barns with biomass, such as, basically chicken coops. So there's all kinds of unusual stuff happening. I also like to see, I tend to see that we're going to have people coming as experts in alternative building products such as SIPS panels, structural insulated panels, insulated concrete form structures, straw bale, rammed earth, earth ship. There's just all kinds of possibilities for building buildings, and lower cost alternatives are going to be popping up now due to the cost of building and what's happened with our building industry, including alternative insulation products, to becoming a green consultant and talking about options besides your conventional fiberglass or cellulose insulation, such as denim or cotton or soy-based foam or castor bean oil-based foam. Just a ton of options coming down the pike. Whipped concrete, for example. We're going to see so much happen, and people are going to have specialties, I think.